Hi there, this is intuitive chef Gail Blair from Food Revelation, and I'm actually coming to you from nature today. What a perfect setting for what I'm talking about. The fact is one of the reasons we're so disconnected from our God-given health is that we become so disconnected from nature and our natural food sources. And also I want to say thank you all for that's here live with me today. I really appreciate your support. I can feel it. Thank you. Um, This is the evolution of free health and the 7 missing links to abundant and sustainable health. And if you missed the intro, I recommend that you go see that before you actually watch this one, because then it's going to make a lot more sense to you. You can see that video on my YouTube channel at Intuitive Chef Gail Blair, and you can also see it on my Facebook page at Evolution of Free Health and at Food Revelation for that matter. So today we're going to talk about the first missing link to abundant health, and this is actually one of the most logical ones, and that is that time does not stand still, and neither do our bodies, right? Makes sense. So as a food and medical intuitive, that came across to me really pretty quickly. I realized that, and it came across doing the intuitive food compatibility charts. And I was amazed at how different people were, and that how their needs changed all the time, as I worked with them over time. So their needs changed depending on what was going on physically with their body, and also what was going on mentally. And even as their body was healing, things were constantly in motion, things were changing. So what I realized is it's really never been about good or bad food. I can just leave all the judgment behind, right? It's always only been about what's compatible to the body at any given time, and that's always shifting. So talking about compatible, what actually does compatible mean? It means that the body can actually digest and assimilate and use the food. That's what it means. So if the body can't digest the food, then it can't use it, and then it's a burden to the body. So what has to happen is the body has to expend a whole bunch of energy to process it out of the body, or it has to store it because it doesn't have the energy to process it out. Either way, it's a huge burden to the body at that point. It doesn't matter how good the food is. It can be organic, all natural, raw food, and your body can't use it because it's a burden. So what I also realize that there's different levels of compatibility, and when I do an intuitive food chart, I actually test 3 levels, but I'm going to talk only about 2 today. So the next level is highly compatible, and highly compatible means that these foods contain the nutrients that are the tools that are missing from your toolbox, from your body, to actually make repairs and corrections to the body that are required. So what was revealed over time is that variety truly is the spice of life. So if you're used to eating the same foods all the time, then you probably have a lot of tools that are missing from your toolbox. And I talk more about that missing the variety thing in missing link number 3, so stay tuned to that. So I also realized as people started getting well and healing that their baseline compatibility was stepping up. And so everybody has a baseline compatibility. And what actually determines that, which was a big aha for me, is where you're from. So again, I can leave my judgment behind. So for instance, if you're from a cold weather, if your ancestry is cold weather, then chances are that you have eating meat in your DNA. So you're a meat eater. You need a lot of protein, right? So if you're from a warm weather climate, then you won't need as much because you have a lot more variety. It's like the elephants and giraffes are the biggest animals on the planet, and they're vegan, right? So if the food supply is abundant, you're going to be easier. It's going to be easier for you to shift to a vegan or vegetarian diet than the one that has ancestry in the cold weather. Not to say you can't do it, but you're going to have to do it more slowly, right? And the bottom line is that some people still just really need meat. So you have to listen to your body, and the body evolves slowly. So depending on what you need, you just need to listen to that and just do things slowly and do what the body tells you to do. So, where am I at now? I was going to give you an example of how not one good food is good for everybody all the time, because I have a family member that basically was going by what the world said to eat, and that was, eat a lot of raw food, not realizing that she had a digestive issue. And so she ended up in the hospital. She had diverticulitis, and the raw food almost tore a hole in her colon, see? And so it's important, again, it's very important that we're listening, that we're actually listening to our body. So knowing all of this, knowing how everything is shifting all the time, how could one good food, one diet, one drug, or even one dose, or one fitness regimen, or even one healing facilitator be good for everybody all the time? It would be impossible. There's only one way that it could be possible, and that would be if we're clones and time stood still. Now, we've got some cloning going on, but we still haven't figured out how to make time stand still and still have a life, right? So, and that brings up this point. If you're on a drug, or if you've been told that you may need a drug for the rest of your life, just know that it's subject to change. It could actually change. So when you go get a blood test taken or a diagnostic test taken, even that is just a snapshot in time. So the results are actually shifting, as you shift. So the next, it's hard to keep up, right? So the bottom line is if we listen to what the body wants and then we just heed that advice, then we're always giving the body what it needs to make repairs. We're actually getting to root causes, and we're giving the body real solutions. We're not putting Band-Aids on symptoms anymore. And the most beautiful part is that it's really, you're preventing symptoms even before they ever start, right? So when the body has the right tool, also, what I realize is it makes corrections very fast. So the body is a very efficient machine. It's miraculous, actually, at the speed at which it actually makes corrections. So from my experience over time, in the last 7 years, most people that actually go through this process and really follow through with it, they turn the bus around on things within 3 to 6 weeks. So that's pretty quick. And if it's not completely turned around, they're heading in the right direction. So I'm going to leave you with this to ponder. If you can know exactly what your body wants before you go to the grocery store, and we can, okay, and you can get your mind out of the way, and this is something I talk about in later links, we can actually learn to do this, right? Then the body will do what it is miraculously God-given, God-designed to do, and that is to heal itself, to make corrections, to regenerate, to restore. That's what it's made to do. So, that's preventative well care, folks. The body and the food is always talking. It's just a matter of whether you're listening or not. And so, coming up next, speaking of getting your mind out of the way, the third missing link is our body is a reflection of what we eat and what we think, more importantly, what we think. And on that note, I'll leave you with this. Here's to your peace, your joy, your love, and your abundant health. Thank you.